November is my birthday month, and it's time I treated myself. Indulged myself, if you will, by doing some videos I've wanted to do for ages but I've been putting off, for various reasons. So that starts right now with my top 10 Digimon who look like they should digivolve into each other, but are the same level. Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Thank you so much for liking and subscribing. If you didn't just like and subscribe, you just got thanked for free, and that's not really cool, you know? It was my birthday this week. Come on, get it together. Sad to see Spooktober go, but still, it's nice to have the old intro back, huh? So I put a tweet out at the start of October about how I'm frustrated by Digimon who would be perfect evos for each other but are the same level, and you all seem to agree, and submitted your own examples. So while, as always, these lists are my personal top 10, so that you guys don't get offended by them, a good chunk of this list does come from suggestions from Digimon fans who follow me or interact with me on Twitter, aka you. If you want to be featured in the next one, at @karn_ex. And of course, I will credit people as we go, where appropriate. So, without further ado, let's begin with number 10. First at 10 is Devimon and Dividramon, which was suggested by @HoodieGuy on Twitter. Now, yes, they are supposed to be kind of variants of each other, different takes on Devimon as a concept by changing the species, but that being said, I can absolutely see Dividramon being a Devimon Digivolution, in the same way Digivolutions like Dun Devimon kind of revert Devimon to a more bestial nature. I can totally see Devimon sacrificing some of his human elements to gain like a draconic advantage over an opponent, especially as Myotismon and Neo Devimon are similarly sized to their champion form. It's not like Dividramon would have to be significantly bigger to count as an evolution, but alas, Devimon and Dividramon are both champion levels. In at number 9 is Lilymon and Lilimon, suggested by @BunPrince on Twitter. And yeah, I can totally see this. While similarly to Devimon and Dividramon, they're supposed to be a kind of aligned pair, and that Lilymon is kind of a new take or homage to Lilymon's line, much like how Gaomon is kind of an homage to Gabumon. That being said, if Lilymon was a champion, Lilymon would kind of be a perfect ultimate to lead into Rosemon. It feels like in Lilymon's skirt has enveloped her body, and the grass leaves have almost become blossoms and started to be less functional as wings, which I think ultimately leads well into Rosemon, as it does already, with the predominant pink turning a deep red, etc, etc. I don't know, I hadn't thought of this one before, but when BunPrince suggested these two ultimate levels look like they could be evolutions for each other, I actually really dug it and totally agreed. In at number 8 is Tortamon and Ankylamon, suggested by Michelin Manlet. Adore that username, by the way. You know, I'm a huge 02 fan, so I'm always going to want to put 02 Digimon high on these lists. And part of me has always wanted full traditional evolution lines for the 02 partners that isn't an armor or a jogress. It kind of flies in the face of the fact that I love those evolution methods, but I've always wanted to see it regardless. And so it always felt like somehow Tortamon and Ankylamon should digivolve into each other. Admittedly, I will say weirdly, Ankylamon feels more like the higher evolution in this case, because Tortamon doesn't fit very well for me in between Armadillomon and Ankylamon. That said, I could definitely see Ankylamon becoming an ultimate form for Tortamon regardless, because Digimon, especially side media and video games, likes to do a lot of silliness with the levels and just put Digimon at random levels, Drimogimon into Digmon for example. This is why this is my number 8, because despite being a 02 Digimon, the obvious visual link actually creates more problems than others do when we try to headcanon an evolution. @DigiJojo fan suggested our next Digimon pair. I bet that person is super happy with the time after time meme. The evolution pair that isn't an evolution pair of Gladymon and Skull Knightmon. And yes, in every single way, Skull Knightmon looks like a corrupted evolution of Gladymon, from the knight helmet to the two weapons, and even the eyes peeking out, but they're both champion level Digimon. Well, largely. Obviously, Skull Knightmon originated in Cross Wars, where levels weren't always initially cemented, but then also for some reason Digimon Soul Chaser decided to make him an ultimate. This is why I've put these two at number 7. Largely, they're both champion levels, and have never digivolved into each other regardless, but because of this side media deciding to make Skull Knightmon an ultimate, this one becomes a little bit less clear cut, because ostensibly there is a way, theoretically, they could be an evolution line or evolution pair. Regardless, it's still wild that these two have never been officially connected. Next is Birdramon and Baraimon. Birdramon, of course, is Biomon's champion form, which digivolves to Garudamon, and I think Garudamon and Baraimon look super similar. Like, Baraimon could be sort of a Bushi Garudamon, if you will. But Baraimon is actually also a champion level Digimon that digivolves from Hyokomon, a Digimon who, if you've been watching these videos for a while, are probably sick of me talking about all the time. I just think Baraimon looks so much like a Samurai Evo variant for Birdramon, it makes me sad we don't have any history of Baraimon digivolving from at least Biyomon. In at number 5 are Terriermon and the brand new Digimon Ghost game partner Angoramon. Now, the reason these two feel so similar is clearly intentional. Not going to spoil anything, but Ghost Game is clearly paying homage to Digimon Tamers, but Angoramon being a big strapped up rabbit who even has the same markings as Gargomon makes it feel so much like Terriermon should digivolve into him, but alas, they're both rookies. Now, that being said, I don't think I'd want Angoramon to be changed into a champion. I like kind of oversized rookies like Angoramon and Renamon, but Terriermon to Angoramon does just make so much sense to me. Maybe in the future we could kind of see a melding of their lines. I will not spoil Angoramon's champion form here because I know a lot of people want absolutely zero spoilers and even skip the OP, but if you are familiar with it, I can definitely see how Terriermon could digivolve into it in like a future V-Pet or something like that. And before we get to the next thing, I want to quickly give a huge shout out to this video sponsor, Buyee. Buyee is a online proxy service who helps you get everything you need from Japan. They are phenomenal, they have been super supportive of the channel, and like half of the things you see in this bedroom, like that gold Digivice, is from Buyee. Something I did want to talk about because I've been getting a lot of people who really want to use Buyee. A really helpful tip I have found if you're trying to find the item you're looking for, regardless of which of their sites they operate on, Yahoo Japan Auction and Shopping, Amazon JP, Mercari, Rakuten, a bunch more. If you actually search those sites within Buyee in Japanese, you get so many more results. A big tip, for example, if you are trying to get the Digimon Axel, go to Wikimon, copy what Digimon Axel is in Japanese, pop that into Buyee, you will get a ton more results than just searching the English words Digimon Axel. And as always, if you use Buyee with my exclusive link in the description, you will get 2,000 yen, that's roughly $20 US off your first purchase. So if you're trying to get a Japanese exclusive Digivice, a Digivice V, a Digimon VB, use that tip I talked about plus my 2,000 yen coupon and you will get yourself an absolute steal. Thank you to Buyee for sponsoring this video. Let's get to number 4. Next up is Mikemon and Darkmon, suggested by @TequilaKnuckle on Twitter, and this is an absolute home run of a suggestion.
Fuck you!
I have always felt like Mikemon has been the most unfairly treated of the Gatomon variants, and I feel like Meikumon is an active attempt to redo the Mikemon concept. So of course I always wished Mikemon got its own Anjouamon equivalent. As while Bastemon is a great Evo, it's not angelic, and I'm basic. My own personal fan Digivolution for Mikemon would be lovely Angemon, but we'll talk about that another day. But that being said, Darkmon would fit so well for Mikemon. Darkmon is an angel, but more of a warrior, which I think would help keep Mikemon feel distinct from Gatomon, but would also look great alongside Anjouamon and Lady Devimon. But, as is the rub in this entire list, yes, they are both champions.
I'm so sad!
Number 3, suggested by @DLobsterGuy or @DieLobsterGuy, I'm gonna go with DLobsterGuy and then be proven wrong, is Ogremon and Tuskmon. And wow, this one also completely bonked me over the head with how brilliant it is, and how obvious it is. Tuskmon 100% looks like a dinosaur version of Ogremon, from the green skin, to the red accents, to the skull tattoo on their arms. And now, these Digimon might not have made this list if there was some big lore reason that they looked similar, if they were intended to be variants, or that like Tuskmon had Ogremon DNA. If Tuskmon was a Goblimon who lived with dinosaurs and that influenced his evolution into something different from Ogremon. But get this, as far as I can tell, and I'm willing to be proven wrong in the comments, there has never been an official connection made between Tuskmon and Ogremon. Not in the reference book, they do not share a type, they do not share a field group. Tuskmon has never been shown to digivolve from Goblimon or into Boltmon, Titamon, or or Rebellymon, or pretty much any notable Ogremon evolution. The only textbook connection they have is being virus type, which like Gamamon, Guilmon, tons of Digimon are virus type. It's the cool type to be, it's the edgy type. And yet their designs are so similar. I'd love to see more on this. If they can't digivolve into each other due to being the same level, can we at least have some reason why an Oni and a dinosaur look so closely related? Give Bandai, please. In at number 2, we have mild spoilers for Digimon Ghost Game. If you're watching on pretty much every device, you should be able to click along the timeline of the video to skip to number 1. If you're not able to do that, there should also be timestamps in the description, which you can click and skip this entry. I'm going to be talking about and showing one of Gamamon's champion forms, which was already revealed by the Gamamon Dim card, the Digimon Ghost Game OP, and tons of other places, but feel free to use those timestamps if you want to skip this. Okay, everyone who's cool with that still here? Brilliant. So let's proceed with a new evolution that I wish could happen, XVmon to Chaos Gamamon. Both are of course champion level and of a similar size / build, but Chaos Gamamon scratches an itch I have had for years. Oftentimes a normal, aka non-Jogress Evo for XVmon defaults to Aero Vidramon and then Ulforce Vidramon, but that's never sat super well with me. Firstly because Vidramon to Aero Vidramon gives Vidramon wings, which makes sense. But second because, well, they're all Vidramon, not Vmon, Vidramon. I want XVmon to have, like, you know, YVmon or something. Not a Vidramon Evo, but maybe I'm being pedantic. Regardless, the wing situation is, I believe, perfectly settled with Chaos Gamamon. Obviously, the two champions are visually similar, with a blue dragon man body, horns on their snouts, and 3 claws on each appendage, but I can also absolutely see XVmon's wings becoming the gliders, with sort of propulsion air intakes that Chaos Gamamon has. It's not one of those Evos that would be leaps and bounds advanced, but a nice stopgap ultimate between XVmon and something like Ulforce Vidramon. Much like Aero Vidramon isn't a huge advancement on Vidramon, especially like in V-Tamer with Zeromaru. I just love this Evo to happen, or a Digimon like Chaos Gamamon to be an ultimate, maybe with like a jetpack or something to sell the evolution more. Chaos Gamamon even gives me slight Paildramon vibes, with its air intakes being similar aesthetically to the Desperado Blasters or armor pieces. Or maybe I'm just gaslighting myself into thinking this should work.
Gaslight gatekeep girl boss.
You're right. And finally is, I think, our strongest contender for this list, Gardramon and Blimpmon. This is truly baffling to me. Blimpmon has everything you would expect from an evolution. It resembles Gardramon, it's bigger than Gardramon, it adds an ability Gardramon does not have, flight in this case. And in the tradition of prominent partner Digimon keeping their aesthetics and design ideas through evolution, as opposed to like non-partner and side media evolution, which of course is much more free and is basically just level to level, and totally valid. I know when I talk about Digimon who look like each other, digivolving into each other, there are some people who are like, well, Digivolution is free, and you know, and yes it is, but partners are designed to have Digivolutions that look like they should go into each other. Blimpmon keeps the entire same steampunk machinery aesthetic Gardramon has, and yet, they're both champions. I feel like I'm taking crazy pills. This drives me mad. Like, sure, Blimpmon digivolving from Solarmon works well as a variant line to the Haguramon to Gardramon situation. Sure, Solarmon being like solar related would make sense that its evolution would be like a flying sky form of Gardramon, but Blimpmon loses the golden color, the main thing that makes Solarmon different to Haguramon. It's just not golden. I just can't believe that someone decided to sketch Blimpmon, submit it, and be like, I've made a new Digimon for Bandai, and Bandai or the artist or whoever it may be went, looks like a Gardramon evolution. Let's make him the same level. It's a huge injustice to me as someone who honestly kind of gets bored of Andramon as the de facto Gardramon Evo. And despite what I said earlier on this list, forget past Khan, he's an idiot. If a show or a game or an app wanted to make a ultimate level Blimpmon or like a King Blimpmon or something that could digivolve from Gardramon, I would never complain about them doing that again. Like, mess around with the levels all you want, go for it, just give me my Gardramon to Blimpmon evolution. Well, that's my list. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed it and you agreed, let me know by liking, subscribing, and leaving a comment below. I will be doing this again if you guys like it. I've already got quite a few suggestions from Twitter from the last time, but if you have an idea for a Digivolution pair that are the same level and therefore can't be, let me know in the comments or on Twitter at Karn_EX. Please follow me there, I crave validation. And you might potentially be featured in the next video. Like I say, November is my birthday month. Probably it's been my birthday by the time this video is out. Also, I have a visitor for for the rest of November. But without further ado, let's thank some channel members.
Yay. Thank you to Andrew Sobel and Doguka.
You guys are amazing. Thank you, Sovereigns. That's a hell of a dedication. I probably have seen Andrew's mascot he made for me by now, but you know, I'm in the past. It's past con time, baby. And the Digi-Destined. Good luck.
Okay, Rule Lima, Triple D, Night 12, Super Embro, Metallic Pool, Anthony Vatsumasi,
Good job.
Reese Williams, Sad Uncle Callum, Crimson Dragon _Slayer.
That's it. That's the last
And
one.
that's it.
And the Tamers.
Salmon Slayers, Seven Wolves Rule, Theo Navarro, Cargos D21, The Blessed Rain, Sam Mallow, and Mike McNulty.
And so everyone in the Con Club, thank you for supporting the channel. I'll see you at the next one. We're gonna go, I don't know, fucking watch YouTube for 9 hours.
Or TikTok for 9
Or
hours.
TikTok for 9 hours. And I'll see you next time when we go digital. Bye-bye.